Alors, je vais voir si tu continues. Arrête de faire ta coincée, ça doit...
J'ai jamais eu de vraie histoire.
J'y ai pris goût. Ça m'a donné envie de reconnaître. Je sais pas choisir. Je sais pas ce que je veux.
Hello. So basically, the 2022 French drama film Soul Desire centers on the physical and emotional awakening of a young woman who enters the world of exploring themes of female empowerment, sisterhood, and a fluid relationship. And we will be breaking down the relationship that actually developed, on this movie when it comes to Manon and Mia's relationship. Yes, this one is 100 trillion% a full blown lesbian movie. Yes, it's all about them from the beginning to the very end. Obviously, there are other characters that also have their roles, but it's very, very small roles. The two main characters are them too, and it is basically the story of how they fell in love with one another and how the complexity of their dynamic when it comes to work, family, and also personal life affects this connection that they actually found very unexpectedly. So let's break down everything and speak a little bit about this amazing movie. So basically, the story follows Manu, a newcomer who starts working at the club under the stage name Aurore. She is mentored by Mia, a popular veteran dancer and aspiring actress who goes, at the club to make some extra cash and also to practice, for her actress gigs that she is setting herself up with, because in the future her goal is obviously to leave the club and become a full-time actress, but she has been having difficulties when it comes to that, so she takes this part-time job to basically practice her actressing skills and abilities, and also make some extra cash for her to take care of her daughter. In this case, Mia initially guides Manon through the nonsense of the professional over time. The two develop a romantic and intimate relationship, but Mia has a boyfriend and she also loves her boyfriend as well, because he's actually a really good guy. He helps her out with her daughter, and also, he helps her out as well so that she can have time to focus on her career and what she has going on for herself. So there is a lot of different dynamics that we can see going on in the movie. So at the very beginning, while they were just, having like this friendship environment, and co-working environment, the two starts to go out a lot together, spending quality time together as friends hanging out. But later on, we can quickly see that Mia actually had this interest towards, in this case, Manon. But Manon, she never been with a woman before, so she never had that curiosity to actually be with a woman. But obviously, by meeting Mia, it, basically sparked something in her to possibly, explore that side of her as well. So, Manon, she decides to go into a different route. So she starts to make extra activities from work. Hopefully, you guys can make sense about what I'm saying. She basically becomes a SEX worker, and obviously you can see that in this case Manon, she was actually very not excited for it, but she knew it was a way for her to make quick money and also to better herself, her life instantly. And also she was projecting herself to actually be with Manon, and she knew that Manon came with responsibilities and a daughter in this case as well, so she wanted to set themselves up so that they can have a good life and stable life together. So Manon has decided to go on this route. Obviously, you can see that Mia, she wasn't happy with the decision that Manu have decided to stay. She thought it would only be something temporarily, that she would do it and eventually leave. But she started to see that Manu actually does like what she does, when it comes to her extra working activities. And it was starting to bother me a little bit, but obviously she could also not complain because she's also in a full-blown relationship with a man. And also, she could not ask a lot from, in this case, from Manun. So they were kind of just upset, accepting, each other's reality. You do that and I do this, but we come together and we spend time together, and slowly but surely the two starts to falling in love with one another, until one day things got extra complicated, because at this point you can see that Mia's boyfriend actually approached Manun and told her they actually had a three-way relationship, a one-night stand. And through that moment her boyfriend realized that they too actually have been having something doing, and that, you know, Mia is falling for Manon as well. So he basically went to Manon and told Manon, hey, whatever you're doing with my girlfriend, you need to stop. I love her. I take care of her. I take care of her daughter. And I don't want you to come into our lives and interrupt what we have going on. Obviously, Manon, she didn't care about his feelings because she had a very straight goal, and that is to be with Mia. Obviously, there came a point where she got an apartment. She took, you know, Mia to the apartment, and she told Mia like, hey, this is what I want us to have. There's an extra room. I'm not telling you to leave your boyfriend, but I want you to have the space so you can come and disconnect just in case you need it. Obviously, you can see that it was a very emotional moment because Mia, she was also confused. She didn't know if she wanted to leave her boyfriend, if she wanted to be with Manon, if she wanted to start over. Her career was also going through a crisis. So there was a lot going on. So she couldn't definitely figure out what she really wanted. And then she came up with a deal to Manon. She basically told Manon, like, hey, if you leave your job that you are currently doing, that I'm not satisfied with the fact that you are doing it, then I will, you know, put myself in a position to leave what I have going on at home when it comes to my boyfriend, and we can start a life fresh. Obviously, Manon, she wasn't having it. She said, I cannot, you know, do that because I make so much money, and by me not making that amount of money, I will not be able to afford certain things that I'm planning on doing. And obviously, there was also like a breaking point for Mia because at the end of the day, she has a daughter and she doesn't want to be with someone that is doing that type of job, knowing that she's a mother, and she's also not just because she's a daughter, she has a daughter, but she doesn't believe that that is the type of work that she wants her significant other to be doing. Eventually, the two end up splitting, you know, in this case, Manon, she ends up going to Japan with one of her clients, and she actually ended up being there for a couple of years. She wasn't in contact with Mia. Mia went on with her career. She actually finally got her big break, you know, as an actress. And you know, it looks like she finally got that independency where she could just live out of, you know, being an actress. On the other hand, we can see Manon, she was so heartbroken that she just decided to leave, you know, and go to Japan. She was in Japan for years without contact from anybody, not seeing anybody, and just, you know, restarting her life. After years and years being separated, you can see them reconnecting again, once again at the club on a very special night where that they did for the boss of the club. So there you can just see them reunited and them having this deep conversation where you can just basically see that no matter how much time passed by, they still definitely still did and still love each other a lot. And more moral of the story, they reconnected after a very deep, you know, conversation that they had between each other. And there was the moment they just realized that yes, no matter what happened, they are meant to be and they're gonna keep working towards it. And they just had a happy ending. And I feel like that was the best part of the movie for me, the fact that they could actually figure out the difference, and just to show that no matter how much time goes by, when somebody is for you, they are for you. And also they are at better places at their lives right now. You know, Mia, she's a professional. Manon, I think she had her other things going on for herself. So now they are in a way more mature place where they can do and, you know, basically seek for betterness in the relationship. This movie was released in 2022, so I would highly recommend you all to watch it. I was surprised by it. I definitely did enjoy it. It's a long movie, almost 2 minutes long. So I hope you all have enjoyed this review. And if you have watched it, also let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Until the next video, and goodbye.